welcoming today. Local leaders have converged in Washington, D.C. to get resources to help improve our city. A main priority is curbing homelessness in the region. Fox 40's Joe Khalil spoke with members of Congress today, and he joins us now live from Washington, D.C. Joe, are they making any progress?
Yeah, the homeless issue here, again, it's one of their priorities, and it's really been one of the highlights so far. You know, because of the administration we have right now and the budget they put out, there were a number of cuts to homeless programs. So the people working on homelessness on this trip, they were not even worried about getting more funding. They were just worried about hanging on to the funding they already had. But now, just a couple days later, it's a completely different story. As the Sacramento region continues to grow, its homeless population still struggles to find adequate housing. This week, local leaders pounded the pavement in our nation's capital, looking for more funding and better solutions.
It's a human issue as well as an economic issue.
Tuesday, Congresswoman Doris Matsui met with a cap-to-cap team dedicated to curbing homelessness in the region. They come from 7 cities in 4 counties, a sign that team co-chair Ryan Lufborough says homelessness isn't an isolated problem.
All of us working on the same project together, it kind of forces us to be in the same room and really listen to what our priorities are.
He says those priorities are more temporary beds and permanent roofs, but it costs money. In the federal budget, Sacramento County was slated to lose up to $22 million because of cuts to the Housing and Urban Development Department. But instead, Congress passed a temporary budget to avoid a government shutdown that increased HUD's funding. Matsui says their effort, along with homeless advocates nationwide, had an impact.
We try to be as flexible as possible at the federal level so that the local level can actually use the housing in the best possible way.
We also want to look at housing as treatment.
But the battle isn't over. Lufborough says more money for mental health will mean less to be spent on housing, especially important, he says, for veterans.
They need a support system. And fortunately, we're beginning to see that happen.
Congressman John Garamendi worked with members of Lufborough's team securing resources for veteran programs and coming up with new ones.
We owe it to them to try to find programs that meet their needs.
This group is doing that, one face-to-face meeting at a time. Now, I want to make very clear that this week is sort of a manifestation of all of the effort that was put in by all these advocates who've been dealing with the homeless issue in the entire region, a number of different counties. But again, the work was months and months ahead of this, and even as they go home from this trip in the next couple of days, that work, they say, is going to continue in the months to come. Reporting live in Washington, D.C., Joe Khalil, Fox 40 News.
Joe, thanks so much. And continuing our cap-to-cap coverage, now the entire delegation